Well, we're here in Fresno. Dwayne's little plane. Checking it out. Does this thing have a name besides Better Tester?
Joe fits in that. I can't believe it.
I called it
Lucille?
no,
Loose Wheel?
because the flow of money was good. I had a better reason. It was when
Wow, El Capitan, Half Dome, Bridlesville Falls, Yosemite Valley. Well, Dad, it's pretty spectacular. How many times have you been at this corner?
56.
A dozen more than that, I'm sure. Over the years, we've been to this spot
A lot of times.
many times. Wow.
Dean and I and Dwayne have stood on that snow patch on top of Half Dome. One day we hiked from the valley up to the top and back. It was the hardest hike I've ever done, 18 miles. I believe it's 5,000 feet elevation gain. But it's a memorable day.
And it's amazing how big it is up there. When I did it,
It's like
you can play baseball up on the top there.
You really can.
It's a huge top, and it dips in the middle there.
We came here 56 years ago in August, in the summer. Two people that loved each other, didn't have a thing except a dog, and everything we owned was in one little car, and we had a tent. And it was our first visit to Yosemite, and we camped where the backpackers camp now. And a 9-foot by 9-foot tent with the stake in the middle that held it.
Canvas tent, right?
And the Yosemite Lodge was brand new then. And so after we got tired of hiking, we came in and played rook in Yosemite Lodge lounge, where you could look and see the falls coming down. And it was just spectacular. And one night we came home, it was after dark, and Skippy was in the back of our tent just shaking like anything. I wondered, what's wrong with her? Then I noticed some pans tipped over, and cans that we hadn't emptied licked out. And so a bear had obviously visited our camp and just scared our little dog to death.
Wow. 56 years ago, Mom, your honeymoon in this very spot. 56 years later.
On our way out, they were building the road from Crane Flats up to Tenaya Pass. And so there was an old dirt road, single lane. If you met anybody, one of you had to back up until you found a spot where the two could get by. And I remember they had Caterpillar tractors up there building it. But anyway, we camped at Tenaya Lake for several nights, and we met a guy and his friend who was a student at a Baptist seminary. And so we decided to hike up the almost sheer granite wall that comes right down to the lake, probably 1,000 feet up.
Yeah.
No trail, just scrambled up the rocks, very much like back here. But there was no trees either. It was just pretty much sheer granite. And I'd stuffed some things in my pocket to eat, and we got up there, and it was a beautiful little lake. And I had a can of Spam and some Ritz crackers. And one of the guys walked around the lake and he found an old frying pan that somebody had left. I had some matches. So we fried up that Spam and put it between those Ritz crackers. And that was absolutely the best lunch we ever had in the world. And coming down, we couldn't come down where we scramble up. You can go up,
Yeah.
but coming down is a different story. So we just followed the stream from the lake, down, 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 and finally it joined up with the trail. And we walked around, and about when the sun was setting, we got back to our tent. You know, that was all just cross country. We had no maps, of course, no GPS.
Yeah, yeah. No cell phones.
You know, and we didn't have a sleeping bag or anything. We got caught out, you know.
Yeah.
We did have some matches, so we could have built a fire. But that was it. And this was a great time. We spent altogether a week up here in the High Sierras.
And if I remember, I had a little black, like a World War II car, it looked like. You pulling that,
Yeah,
you have pictures of it, pulling a kayak or
I
something?
had it on top.
A canoe,
kayak.
yeah.
Yeah, a kayak that I built.
Okay.
On top. And we had been to Hume Lake in Kings Canyon National Park before we came here, and the lake was about a mile across, and I remember swimming across that lake.
Wow.
While your mother paddled the kayak next
Oh.
to me. So
That'd have been a sight. I wish we would have seen that,
I
Mom.
had a problem.
You paddling a kayak across the lake.
Hume Lake.
Hume
Yep.
Lake, yeah.
So, Dad, why Yosemite?
It's-
What was it about here that
You know, we
for
had planned to
your
go to
honeymoon?
Yosemite.
Really?
We had planned to
Originally,
go
we
to
were going to
Hume
Tahoe.
Lake
Because you were married in Glendora.
Yeah, and-
February.
Well, we were married February the 8th in Glendora.
Right.
1957.
But she was in school and I had to work.
Oh, that's
So-
Old
right.
school too.
Well, yeah.
So you didn't take a honeymoon right away.
Oh, no. We took it in August, and the reason we took it in August, I
We were
had
on
to
our way
work
to seminary.
Oh, okay.
June and July to try to save some money up to go to seminary.
All right.
And so we took a slow trip from Southern California to Kansas City, spending
August
two
of
weeks,
57.
2 weeks
Right.
up here. We planned to spend the whole 2 weeks in Hume Lake, but these folks told us, "Oh man,
We're going
you ought
on
to
to
go."
Yosemite.
Yeah, he says you ought to go to Yosemite.
Oh,
and
nice.
They were coming up here.
But I had been to Yosemite a couple times as a child.
Yeah.
Junior high age.
Yeah, but I'd never been. Anyway, once we came here, oh man, we fell in love with it.
Oh, okay.
And,
So that's how it started. That
That's how it started.
August.
Friends we
See,
met at Hume Lake.
I don't know
All
if
them.
I've ever heard
Oh,
that you were.
yeah.
It was August, not right after the wedding.
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
a young couple. They weren't married, just boyfriend
Teenagers.
girlfriend, teenagers, like 17 or 18. We met at Hume Lake. We witnessed to them. They went back down to L.A. and joined a Presbyterian church, and that kid eventually became a minister.
Oh my gosh.
San Fernando Valley. They
Yeah, I don't
We're
remember
from Van
how
Nuys area.
all that happened,
Sherman
but
Oaks.
the spark was struck at Hume Lake.
That's great. You wonder.
They liked our kayak, so that was
Okay.
that was a talking.
You wonder where they are these days. Okay, now, Mom, we have a picture in somebody's album of your new husband
sitting on a rock, reading a book and fishing at the same time.
with black dress
Shoes.
shoes and shorts and no shirt. I mean, what kind of dress code were you agreeing to when you married him?
It's called poor.
That's called nerd.
You just-
Nerd.
I mean, black socks. If I remember right, this picture is in my mind of you just
there's black.
stretched out.
No, he's sitting there, he's reading the book, he's got a fishing
Okay.
pole, and he's sitting on a great big rock in this river.
Now,
This
Yeah,
river
where's that
over
river?
on the other
okay,
side of it.
since I just found out, I don't remember you telling me this ever before, that the honeymoon was August, not February.
Right.
So who's good at math here?
Oh,
You know where I'm going.
You can edit it out because that's not true. We were married in February.
No. I know that, but you had your honeymoon in August, and
Yeah.
along in how many
you
months?
were-
You're going there.
You were born
July.
in July.
So-
it
The
wasn't
following
quite.
year.
It wasn't. No, you're
No.
Kansas,
13
Eight-
months.
58.
Kansas City, baby.
We were married in 57.
I know. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Oh, April. I missed. Well, I'm close. I'm getting
Your
close.
math is bad, honey. Your math is bad.
I'm getting close. This will be the start of the Coles Chronicle, and Deanna and Dwayne and Debbie can add their math to the. Well, there's beautiful Yosemite Falls. We're on the shuttle bus, going around. Well, we're here at the Ahwahnee, and beautiful, having afternoon cokes. But oh yeah, look at this. One of our favorite spots. Look at that dogwood. Wow, just. So, Mom, what was it like shopping for clothes when you were in seminary?
Well, the only time I didn't really ever shop for clothes in seminary, but I was in desperate need for maternity clothes when we were in seminary.
With your first or your second?
With our first child. As the story continues, we got a lot of different colored pastel sheets for wedding gifts.
Okay.
And so yellow and pink and lime green, and some of them were solid colors, some of them were striped. So I just got those out, got myself a pattern, and made myself some maternity clothes so I could be seen outside of the house in something other than my bathrobe. And that's how I got my first maternity clothes. We happened to be the pastor, but we were as poor as the church mice.
So, your first experience in the Ahwahnee, since we're sitting here on the deck?
Our first experience in the Ahwahnee, let's see, it's a lot different than it is now. A lot different.
In what ways?
You didn't have, well, for one thing, you didn't have assigned spaces. So since there were so many of us, my mom strung up blankets from tree to tree to tree to make a little courtyard here, and we slept
your own private.
We slept inside on cots or on the ground. I can't remember that part.
She scoped out a place.
Yeah, she scoped out a place for all of us, and Jack and Carol were with us.
I think I know a mother like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Oh, I think you sort of did stuff like that.
When we first started coming to Yosemite, though, with you kids, there were not assigned camping spots. So you just set up your camp in a place where you thought you tried to.
I remember how packed it was with cars everywhere.
You tried to put some you just camped any place, and you tried to make a boundary by placing your different things. So stake out your spot, you know. Well, the first time I remember coming to the Ahwahnee is with you kids. We went on this hike up to that abandoned mine.
We went there almost every year, it seems like. We had a good time doing that.
And up towards it.
Didn't Uncle Tony took us there, I think, the first time?
No, that was Bodie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was another ghost town.
But I love that mine.
But we did take Tony and Joyce up there, and we took all of our family up there.
Yep.
We've made many, many trips up there, but the first time we went, we came here to the Ahwahnee and met with a tour guide, really nice guy. And I don't think it was Ansel Adams going on a photography, but he sort of looked like him. Really nice guy. Anyway, we met here at the Ahwahnee, got, organized and everything, and then we took our cars up there to that.
I remember,
that spot. Got out of our cars and took this hike to this, and he'd stop and tell us about wildflowers. He'd take off his hat and show us how to place it so the shadows would be just right to get the right look with the sun and shield out the sun and
for the pictures and stuff. Yeah.
So that was really a fun hike.
That was a good hike.
And you kids probably were in. We probably were in L.A. First Church.
Yeah, it'd been about
you probably
third,
were
fourth, fifth grade.
Fifth, fourth,
like
and second grade. Our routine was we ate breakfast, then we went out and did our dirty hiking and sweaty stuff.
Right.
Biking, whatever.
Swimming at the pool.
We'd come back. We'd come
go to the lodge pool.
Have our lunch, and then we'd go to the pool and swim all afternoon.
Oh, I know. Great
It'd be
days.
nice and clean. Then we would go to the go
Yep.
eat at the restaurant there at the
The
lodge.
chili, what'd you call that? The chili hamburger
Yeah.
hot dog thing.
Yeah, and then after that, then we go to the ranger
Yep,
thing
program
right there
it.
in the program right
The
there at the
lodge.
lodge.
And listen to
And
the
then
guy
we
play
would-
his guitar, the wild
yeah, that cowboy guy.
Mariah, the Mariah wind, that guy.
And then we would go and everybody go to the bathroom there and we'd come home and we'd get in bed.
Yep. Now, the other
Occasionally
thing,
we'd have a fire.
I remember when we were camping at other places, hobo dinners. What's a hobo dinner?
Well, hobo dinner is when you have all kinds of vegetables, any kind of vegetable you want. You put it in one pot, and then you make either meatballs or meat patties, and you put it in on top of the vegetables, and you put it in a cast iron casserole.
Yep.
You put it on the Coleman stove, turn it down real low, and let it cook for hours.
Yep.
And you have a wonderful hobo dinner.
I still remember those. Those are great. And
But
potatoes.
The dinner we had the most popular, and that's when those guys joined us. We had that. We had noodles with Denny Moore stew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It's a beautiful afternoon here at the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park behind me. And Mom and I have just had a nice, lovely afternoon listening to some orchestra music. Once a year, that orchestra is here. Mariposa Symphony Orchestra. The smallest town with a symphony orchestra. So it's just been gorgeous. And look at this dogwood behind us and beautiful meadow. So, wow. A couple of deer here in this little... Well, we're here in Yosemite Meadow. We walked on, 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
6 years ago.
When the boys were baptized here in the river. Well, this is the river and where Isaac and Grant were baptized, but it looks a lot different. We could walk across there earlier. When we did it, but this is rolling pretty good. And then we're looking over here. A lot of water. So we are here at the Ahwahnee Hotel and we're celebrating Dad's 78th birthday. Congratulations, Father Coles. How do you feel to be 78?
Good to be here.
Very good to be here. You looking good?
Reflecting over 56 years ago, we first ate here
Man.
in Ahwahnee.
Yep.
And it's been lots of memories, lots of good memories.
Very, very good. This is one of our hangouts here when we come to Yosemite. And just had a great breakfast. And now we're going to go work it off. Well, guys, that was another great breakfast here at the Ahwahnee Hotel, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that little waterfall coming off of there. Just a teeny tiny one. Just this time of year, it's all... Well, we're here at the lower Yosemite Falls, looking up to the upper Yosemite Falls. Nice little river going through here, and a nice seat here for those who want to sit down. Well, we're here, lower Yosemite Falls. It's windy from all that water coming off of the falls. Look at that. Well, here at the base of Lower Yosemite Falls, you can't see the upper falls from this angle. But man, the wind is blowing. Not wind, but it's the breeze coming from the force of the water coming down there, the mist. But just a gorgeous day. And man, just amazing.
We're in Mariposa Grove, outside of Yosemite, and Dina and I are going to do a walking tour of it. Dad's going to stay in the car and take a nap.
Look at that big thing.
There we go, all the way up to
Wow.
the tippy top.
Sequoia. What are these trees? 1,000 years old? 2,000? Some of them?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Last time we were
When
here,
Jesus was walking around, this
Yep.
sequoia was just a baby tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seen a lot of history. Well,
I can't tell the
man, that's a big tree. Whoa. Here's the Bachelor and 3 Graces. I get it. 1 Bachelor and 3 Graces right there. Okay. Spoke too soon earlier. Well, this is the grizzly giant, and look at the branches. The branches are bigger than most trees, thick, 7 feet thick in diameter. This tree is 1,800 years old, they assume, and it's missing its top because as it grows older and the fires come through, the tops snap off or lose their ability to keep growing. But the base, even after many, many, many fires, still is alive.